Eternal Darkness: Sanity's Requiem is a third-person survival horror game following different characters in a battle against evil that spans nearly 2,000 years. Atmosphere. There's a strong feeling of mysticism when you explore the temples and ancient structures, like you're playing with things you don't understand, plus the ever-present looming threat of an ancient and terrifying gods can leave you feeling like you're insignificant to stop the forces of work. Really though, it's the lighting and soundtrack that do most of the heavy lifting. Some fantastic moody lighting and the musical pieces that play do wonders to evoke feelings of dread and despair. The sanity meter is of course the star of the show. When it starts getting low, the camera tilts to one side and voices whisper your character's name, blood drips down the walls, and things start moving on their own. Some of it is really creepy stuff, but the best thing about it is that it all mounts up rather than being a constant thing. It happens as a response to your actions, and unless you do something about it, it only increases, becoming more strange and severe as time goes on.
I tried.
That's one Harry Mason.
But they wouldn't listen to me. Damn their eyes! They didn't believe me. Strange creatures. The world in peril from unseen foes. The darkness. Instead they jeered and threw me into this forsaken place. A place of empty souls and fevered thoughts, reeking of fetter and decay, thinking me mad with delirium. The fools cast away their hopes of salvation, but locking me in this damned asylum. May the rats eat your eyes! I am now lost to your cause! The darkness comes! It will damn us all!
Scares. Whilst it could be said that it relies on the same thing that made Resident Evil frightening, with intense but less life-threatening combat, it's really the sanity effects that doubtlessly steal the show, tricking players into thinking their TV has changed channel, their save games are being deleted, or even just blowing off a character's head randomly. Some of these are more effective than others. I found some of the smaller ones more effective in freaking me out or making me jump, with the simplest one being a candle sparking and producing a noise that often startled me. It's safe to say that some of these are less effective in the modern age, with very few people still playing these on televisions that have user interfaces like the ones in the sanity effects, but it's still weird to see. Besides this though, there really isn't anything else. The combat isn't frightening, and as you gain knowledge of more spells, it becomes easier as the game goes on. The problem is, the game can scare you, but the more you know of the sanity effects, the less frightening the game becomes, and most of what you'll experience is down to what the game decides to spring on you anyway. Throughout my entire playthrough, I didn't capture the one where it deletes my save game, which is arguably the most frightening one. At the end of the day, it's an innovator of unique scares, but I can't give it the point, as your mileage may vary. That's still one Harry Mason. Sound design. In my opinion, Eternal Darkness is one of the most memorable soundtracks in any horror game ever, with heady rhythms and heavy chanting being the basis for the tracks that provide both a feeling of purpose and hopelessness, to chilly synth and gurgling effects that give some of the tracks a feeling of absolute despair. The sound effects are all incredible, with a certain B-movie charm to the more traditional ones like the magic barriers and weapon effects to the simply awesome sound of spell incantations and monster roars. The unique sanity effects that take advantage of the sound design are the best, with ghostly voices that speak out the character's name as you travel the levels. The voice acting is fantastic, but if you look at the people cast in it, it's no wonder it's so good. Overall, the sound design is some of the best that horror games have to offer. That's two Harry Masons. Gore. In combat, blood spurts out of nearly every enemy, and dismemberment, while slightly cartoonish, is still very much a thing. It's gory, but in a brightly coloured way. During the cutscenes, there's some torn open bodies, and watching Anthony slowly turn into a zombie was pretty gnarly. While some may say the way it's presented disarms it a bit, it's hard to say it's not there, and it does fit in with the art style of the game. That's three Harry Masons. Story. Following the grisly murder of her grandfather, Alex Roivas returns to her family home and uncovers the Tome of Eternal Darkness tucked away in a secret room in her grandfather's mansion. What follows is a journey as it sees 12 characters throughout history battle the impending darkness that plans to enslave humanity. The story is frankly awesome in both scope and concept. It executes it really well, with each character having a unique part to play, and seeing it all interconnect itself so well is really admirable. It's got lots of dark twists and really keeps the player engaged throughout the game, making the final score 4 out of 5 Harry Masons. Eternal Darkness is a great game. Whilst certain elements of it have been spoiled by both time and the internet, it's still a really enjoyable experience. Again, I'd like to remind you this whole thing is down to my opinion on horror games, so if you don't share this opinion, then that's cool. I get it. I'd like to point out that whilst I was embarrassed to be scared of candles, I did not scream like a banshee or run away from the computer, and I advise you don't either. There'll be more horror reviews in the pipeline, and thanks for watching. And always go check out Bumps in the middle of the night. Peace.